right, what's up, my people, mi gente? Welcome to another episode of What's Next. I'm so excited today because I really do have a special guest, a good friend of mine, a brother from another mother, you can say. But before I introduce my guest, we always have to pay those bills first. So first and foremost, I want to say thank you to Will and Clint from Tacti Polo. You can find their clothing line, apparel. They have some really cool polos, T-shirts, some really nice trucker caps, some great logos on their shirts, any color. The shirts are phenomenal. You don't sweat in them. They're not the regular stuff that you find at Walmart. But go check out man Will and Clint, Tacti Polo. Check out their website, tactipolo.com, for some phenomenal gear. Also, I have my other sponsor, a good friend of mine, Rudy from Inkhead Designs. Now I have to put these glasses on because I can't see like DMC. Rudy's in the south end of our city in West Palm. Great dude. Different types of graphics, stickers. He did this phenomenal banner for me today, fresh up the press. Thank you very, very much to Rudy. If you need them, contact Rudy at 561-766-1457. Again, he's in West Palm. He's local, small business owner. He's got his own shop. Let's support our own people in West Palm, our local business owners. He's also got real cool T-shirts. But again, without further ado, I want to introduce my man, the myth, the legend, Travis Limauro.
Hey,
Welcome,
Daddy.
Travis. Welcome.
Thanks, sir. And hola.
To my gente, mi people.
This is in the Spanish-speaking station as well?
Yep, it'll be translated later.
All right.
And as you guys can see, we are representing big time the United States Marine Corps because Travis is also a veteran, a brother from another mother from the Marine Corps, a brotherhood. And of course, we have to display, if you can grab that corner real quick, we'll display our colors.
Don't drop it.
Semper Fidelis, always faithful to yourself, your country, and your God. Outstanding.
Got it?
Yep, I got it. So, Travis, it's been a pleasure. It's a pleasure and an honor to have you here today.
I was going to say, we're done already? It's been a pleasure.
I was thinking about not dropping the flag.
Yeah, right.
Tell me, you're very well known around our city and with our mutual friends. You know, we worked together for a long time.
We did?
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about yourself, because I really don't know where exactly you were born and raised. Tell me a little bit about yourself, your family, any siblings.
All right. Florida born and raised. My parents were high school sweethearts at Lake Worth High School. My dad joined the Air Force after high school, and his first duty station was down in Homestead.
Okay.
So that's when I was born, November 25th, 1982. Then he got stationed up in Myrtle Beach, and that's where my sister was born. Then he got out of the Air Force and became a firefighter. And he's a retired firefighter, I believe, from Boynton. So yeah, I grew up here. I went to Forest Hill High School. That's in the south end of our city. The reason why I went there, because my best friend went there, and he said there was a shit ton of hot Spanish chicks. So I was sold. Like, I lived down the street from Lake Worth. I could literally walk from my house to Lake Worth High, but I'm like, nah, let's go to Forest Hill. So very active in sports, never did any drugs. Promised my mom I wouldn't. I didn't really party, skip school or anything like that. Honor roll just so I can play sports. 4-year varsity wrestler, 5th in state, varsity football, weightlifting, cross country. So I like to stay active. Had a scholarship for wrestling. The Marine Corps was never really planned. It's not nothing that was in my head, like, I'm gonna join the military when I'm old enough. Wasn't even a thought. Even though my uncle was a Marine, I had a bunch of grandpas that were in Air Force and Navy. So my senior year, Well, my parents got divorced when I was young. I don't even know how old I was, but I don't remember. She remarried, and they were married for about 14 years. And towards the end of my senior year, my baby sister, she was 5 at the time, got diagnosed with leukemia.
Wow.
So, yeah, you want to talk about eye-opener, go to the children's cancer section. And here I am bitching about not having my learner's permit or anything like that, or driver's license, and then walking around and seeing these kids, like, just so skinny and from the chemo and no hair, but just smiling. And it's just like, I broke down. I was like, man, I feel selfish, I feel like a piece of crap, seeing these kids that will never even make it to their learner's permit,
I think, not to interrupt you, but I think sometimes we forget how blessed we are,
True.
because there's other people that are in worse conditions than we are, whether it be health or financially or whatever. But sometimes we have to kind of like take a deep breath, sit back, maybe just thank God, like, thank you for today, letting me open my eyes and my family, that everybody's healthy and everything. But
Yeah, definitely. It was an eye-opener. I was just so sad. I wanted to be there for all the kids and just wanted them to just be healthy. But I overheard my mom and stepdad talking about getting a divorce. And I was never mad at him because he didn't cheat, didn't go behind her back for the divorce or anything like that. He's like, look, I'm not in love with you anymore. I think it's best that we have a divorce. So he was man enough to talk to
just
her
say it
about
up
it.
front,
Yeah, so always respected him for that. I mean, if I'm not happy in a relationship, I'm going to break up with a girl. So
Sure.
it's like, you got to respect him. He still took care of his kids because they had 2 kids, so I'm the oldest of 4. So at this time, like, here I am supposed to go to North Dakota for my
for
scholarship.
your scholarship.
And, every other week, my baby sister is in the hospital getting her chemo treatments. And mom, stepdad in the middle of the divorce and everything. And so me being the oldest, I was like, I can't do this. So I never got on that bus to go to college. And, I was just a waiter, working, helping my mom out, being the older brother. And when I was about 19, I realized I need to do something with my life now. I'm not trying to wait tables, and it's just kind of, it's not for me. So the Palm Beach Post, I saw an ad for the police academy at, I think at the time it was Palm Beach Community College.
Yes. Yep.
Got to be at least 19. I'm like, perfect. Went to the college, signed up, started taking all the tests. There's a lot of money for a 19-year-old kid being a waiter, paying $100 for this, $200 for this, $50 for that. And I was doing real good. The secretary was like, man, you're doing great. You're going to do awesome. And it came down to an interview with the director, and I forgot his name, but I still want to smack him to this day. He turned me down. I struggled when I was 19 at a young age. I don't want you to struggle. The older guys ate my lunch, and it's just, I think you should do a couple years here at the college, get a degree, or join the military and come back, and then we'll definitely take you. So I wanted to strangle his neck because I paid all this money for these tests just to turn me down. And in my head, I'm like, look, I'm not you. You don't know what I've been through or what I'm capable of.
Sure.
Let me see what I can do. Not because of what happened to you. And so I was like, all right, well, thank you, sir, for the opportunity. I'll think it over. I went home, and mom's like, oh, how'd it go? I'm like, I'm joining the military. I told her what happened. I'm like, what's the hardest branch? She's like, oh, well, the Marines. They have the longest boot camp. Your uncle was a Marine. Whipped out the yellow book, yellow phone book.
The yellow book.
Yeah. And USMC recruiter, I called him, Spanish guy, Jose. I was like, hey, how you doing, sir? I'm looking to sign up for the Marines and leave as soon as possible. Okay. Come see me tomorrow. I was his first one that he signed up. He was brand new there, so it was easy for him. I wanted to be an MP to learn how to be a cop since I wanted to be a cop, and he talked me into security forces. And he's like, man, you have best friends right now? I'm like, yeah, man, I got like 3 best friends. We hang out all the time. He's like, that's nothing compared to the best friends you're going to experience in the Marine Corps. The stuff you're going to experience together, good and the bad, it's a whole nother level. And he's like, the bitches, wherever you go. He's like, look at this picture. He's like, you get to work out when you're deployed and all this stuff. I'm like, I'm sold. Sign me up. So I did security forces out in Bangor, Washington was my first duty station after like boot camp and a year of schools. And coming from Florida, South Florida,
Yeah.
to the state of Washington in January,
Big difference.
I know why it was the #1 suicidal state, because the weather is so depressing. You hear that, yeah, it rains all the time there, but
Yeah.
it's that drizzle rain, and it's cold. You go to bed, you wake up, and it's the same weather, and you barely ever see the sun. That's when I started going to tanning salons just to get some color in me. I'm like, I can't do this. And but it was an experience there. I had a 2-week tryout for their SWAT team. It was a CQB, or it's called RTT, Recaptured Tactics Team. And so it's a 2-week haze fest. I mean, they dig your dick to the dirt.
Where do you go to boot camp at?
Boot camp, I went to Paris Island.
Okay.
So in May. So that was hell. What camera am I supposed to look at?
You can look at anyone you want.
I don't know if I gotta change it up.
This one's gonna be looking at you.
Okay.
You can look at
My
it.
good side. So I did the 2 weeks tryout. Then you do a month of this CQB school in Chesapeake, Virginia. They have a sniper, Fort Dam or Damnick, I think it's called, a sniper school out there too. So did the month-long school pass, and then I was pretty much on their like SWAT team out there. And then I got stationed in North Carolina, and they had to get a deployment out of me.
Camp Lejeune, huh?
Camp
Where
Lejeune.
in Camp Lejeune were you at?
1st Battalion, 8th Marines.
Okay.
So I was infantry, 0341. So I was a mortarman. And I picked that in the School of Infantry because you get promoted faster being 0341. I was like, all right, fuck it. And that's how I was able to pick up sergeant so quick. And I got voluntold to do an extra year for the workup and the deployment. All right, what's another year? You know?
So an extra year after you did 4?
Yeah.
Okay. And by this time, what's your rank?
So when I got there, I just got promoted to sergeant, like a couple months after. So I had 6 months left on my contract when I got stationed there. So they're like, look, you can either, we can send you overseas with the unit that's over there already, or do your extension until you're inactive, train with us, do the workup, and then deploy with us. Well, I haven't done any kind of infantry stuff since SOI.
Right.
And I'm not trying to go overseas with people I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to get myself killed or other people killed. So I was like, all right, another year. You know, I got promoted, got to live out in town, did the workup, and deployed for 6.5 months. 6606 was the deployment date. It was on the 24th MU.
Marine Expeditionary
Yep.
Unit, right?
Iwo Jima was the name of the ship. Second biggest battleship. We're a helo company, so any kind of deployments, we'd be in the helicopters.
Okay.
So
you do SOI, which is School of Infantry in Camp Geiger, right?
and then usually go to your duty station after
Whatever
that,
your MOS was, right?
whatever your MOS was. But if you're specialty MOS, like I was security forces, so I go to a security forces school. Then once I pass that, then you go to your duty station.
Okay.
So it was about a year of
So now you end up doing a total of
5 years.
5 years in Marine Corps. You got out as a
Staff sergeant.
staff sergeant, and that was what, E6, right? Sergeant was
E6.
E5.
I got a lot of shit for getting out, especially with the promotion and everything, but I just didn't see myself being a career Marine. It's like you're just stuck at that pay, at that rank. You're coming and going. If I want to have a family, it sucks for the family, always moving and traveling, new school.
It is.
And then just being sent overseas how many times, and it was, you know, how lucky you're going to get going overseas and making it back. You know, my brother did 2 deployments, some IEDs, but nothing major. He didn't lose any limbs or anything, but you just never know what's going to happen.
And you were deployed in Afghanistan, right? Or did you go to Iraq also?
So with the MU, we had a bunch of different missions. Remember when Lebanon and Beirut
Yes.
was popping off again back
Yep.
in '06? Well, we had to get the Americans out, and we couldn't go in with any gear, just our camis, our camouflage outfits. Get the Americans out, put them on the ship, make sure they're safe. Back and forth through the Suez Canal, we trained Jordan's army.
Okay.
We did some missions in Iraq, We went to Djibouti, the hottest place in America, or in the world. It's Africa.
Like climate hot,
Yes.
not war, right?
Yeah, climate hot. We're in Kuwait, Dubai, Cyprus, and we did a lot of like Italy and France where we had to refuel the ship, throw out the trash, restock the food. So that was we get 2 or 3 days of libo. So you go out in town and just get shit-faced, eat, explore. I mean, the food in France and Italy was amazing.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
you can fill this whole table for $20 of food.
Yeah.
And it's organic, it's freshly made, no preservatives. I mean, the food was just incredible. And the scenery, like in Rome, just seeing that in person.
The
it's
views,
like, how?
yeah, the views, the houses, the
Yeah.
people.
With no technology back in the day, high-speed machinery, just
Bro, I got to ask you now, because I know you have a lot of ink. You definitely have me beat by far. Jesus. Too much pain nowadays. But when did you start getting that ink?
so I started in 11th grade because my mom wouldn't let me get my ears pierced. That's a
Okay.
cool thing to wear, the fake earrings.
Yeah, yeah.
So I was like, Mom, I want to get my
clip-on or
ears
something?
pierced. Yeah. She's like, no. I'd rather you get a tattoo than your ears pierced. Okay. So my best friend's cousin was a tattoo artist, so that's how I started. It was a Chinese symbol, it was my first one. Got it off of a Nike t-shirt that meant victory.
Okay.
So had 3 graduating from high school, 5 going into the Marines, 55 when I got out of the Marines, and I just continued. And I'm still going. I got it from my skull all the way down to my feet. So the only thing that's not touched is my penis and my butt cheeks.
By ink.
Yeah, by ink.
So, all right. So you finally get your discharge, right? And you end up back in Florida.
Yep. So me and my good friend from high school, we linked up because we were both going to be firefighters. I'm like, I'll follow my dad's footsteps, be a firefighter, use a GI Bill. He talked to me, he's like, look, you're not really fighting fires. It's a lot of medical stuff. You're going to car crashes, heads are chopped off, you're doing this medical stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. Coming from the Marines and guns, and I'm like, all right, this ain't for me. So I started working at my cousin-in-law's MMA gym. He opened up a gym with Randy Couture,
Okay.
Physigen Extreme Couture. It was in Wellington. So it's like 2007. So he put me as the manager there. And I got to train for free, so I was like, let me try these jiu-jitsu classes out. Did real good with the wrestling background, caught on real quick, did a couple tournaments. I was winning everything, all the tournaments.
What year was this, Travis?
2007.
2007. Okay.
When I got out and started working there. So I'm like, all right, let me see what this cage fighting thing's about. So I did 3 amateur fights, 3-0. I'm like, let me start getting paid for this, That's when I started getting my hands tattooed. I'm like, all right, I'll just be a professional fighter. But this is when the economy was shit. Remember, it was like $5 a gallon for gas, and it was just like no one can get hired or jobs. So a lot of venues would be canceling. Fights would be getting canceled, and here I am, $500 a show. If we're fighting, we both get $500 stepping in the cage. Whoever wins gets an extra $500. So you still got to work a 40-hour job on top of training, and then go and travel and fight. Then you still got to pay your manager, your agent, your gym fees. So it's just
So the price just your purse keeps going down and
Right.
down and down.
so if you lose, you're walking away with way less. So I'm thinking, I'm like, man, this is no way to have a career. There's no money in it. Your body's getting banged up, and it could be a long time before you start getting real money. Even UFC fighters now, you're getting $5,000 a show, and you still got to pay for your fight camp, pay for this, pay for that. Some of them, you have like 4 or 5 fighters living in like a 1-1 apartment, or you're living at the gym. I don't want to live that life.
At what point does an actual fighter start to make a little cheddar, little cheese? Starting like where you started, and just what your name
the
being
bigger
thrown
the
out there?
events, yeah. So you start at the small events, you work your way up, go to bigger events, work your way up, maybe do some fights overseas. But still, even if you make it into the UFC, you're still you're a newbie, you're a rookie. So it's very rare that you're really making money. Like Conor McGregor, you can hate him, you can love him, but that man is smart. Coming in there making millions and millions, just changing the game. When he fought Floyd Mayweather, people laughing that he lost. Did he really lose?
He made a lot of money.
40-something million dollars, 50 million. You know, it's just like very small percentage you're making money. Some of these fighters, now you hear them, they talk real slow. They seem like brain damage.
Punch, what do they call that? Punch
drunk.
Punch drunk.
And it's sad to see that. And they're now, you know, they're punch drunk, 30-something, trying to work a normal job. So
there's got to be a lot of politics involved in that, huh? Or not really?
Not about politics, who you know, what gym you go to.
Yeah, like, you know, just, well, yeah, exactly. From the gym to who's training you to who's going to market you, right?
If I were to go back to do it, and I wanted to make it to the UFC, I'd go, or Bellator, I'd go Coconut Creek, ATT down there. Their facility is huge. They even have like dorms there. When other fighters fly in for a camp, I mean, it's massive, that gym there. So I did about 2 pro fights, and I'm like, all right, I got experience, got to see what it was like. Now let me go to the police academy. So went to the police academy. They put me as class leader because the Marine background, the MMA background.
And this, so that was 2007. Now we're at what?
So now it's 2009.
9. Okay.
Yeah, 2009.
So 2009, you get yourself into the academy.
Yep.
I would imagine you used your GI Bill.
Used the GI Bill, so I was able to do day shift or daytime academy, because you have daytime academy, which is Monday through Thursday, and it's about 6 months long for the academy. Night times for the people that have to pay for the academy and that still have to work full time. So they do a few days a week, a couple hours at night, all day on Saturday. And that's like 8-something months long. So I was able to use the GI Bill, and I worked at my godfather's boat club. It was Palm Beach Boat Club. So I'd work there like Fridays and Saturdays, and Sundays was my study day, getting my uniforms ready.
It's not easy. I mean, doing like, you know, if you're not full time, if you're doing the part-time academy, it's tough.
It's tough.
You're working those 40 hours or whatever at your regular job. And like you say, you have to come home, now go to class, study, get your uniform ready for the next day, and kind of do it all over for 6 months, right?
Yeah.
You know, and just to...
No, 8 months for the night.
8 months. And not to go off topic, but I always tell young people, young kids, and I say kids because of my age, coming out of high school with no direction in life, right? I think the best advice that I can give a young person, male or female, is if you have no direction in life and you really don't know what you want to do, what's next in your life, I would say join the military.
I tell people that all the time.
Right?
If you know college is not for you, don't go. Don't waste your time. Don't waste your money.
It doesn't matter what branch, you know, whether it be National Guard or any other branches. We're all serving our country in one way or another, right? And at least once you decide that maybe this is not for me, and you do maybe 2 years, 4 years, whatever that is, now you have the GI Bill, where now you can learn some kind of craft or trade that can sustain you, you know.
Special car loans, house loans, when you're a veteran. Like my brother tried to keep it from me. He was kind of scared to tell me. He didn't want me to talk him out of going to the Marines. So this time when the economy was shit, he wanted to be a mechanic. Loved working on cars. So he went to a mechanic school, got certified, but he couldn't get hired anywhere. No one was hiring because the economy. He's like, man, and he was working at Park Ave. He's like, I don't want to be doing this. You know, can't get hired as a mechanic. It's like, I'm gonna join the Marines then. And okay, what can you do in the Marines as a mechanic? Motor T.
Yep.
So you're getting paid to do what you love to do, further your education in that department.
Yep.
So he knocked out 2 deployments. He did 8 years. Started dating up there, got married, had a kid, and you know he had a house out in town. So he stayed up there and started his own business, building fences, and he's 100% disability as well. So he's going to school, getting his GI Bill on top of that.
Yeah.
So that's like $7,000 right there he's getting from his disability and going to school full time.
Now, let me ask you a question, because when I went in, 1990 to 94, you could only use the GI Bill within, I believe, it's 10 years,
10 years.
from your
It's the same.
EAS, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it still the same?
Yeah.
You know,
It's changed since I got out, but
and
yeah.
I think that's something that should be changed. You know, where hey, I served my country honorably. I got honorable discharge. I should be able to use that GI Bill as long as I'm alive. You know, because I only used a portion of it to go to the academy, and then that other money just kind of.
A high percentage of the veterans don't even use it. So that's money they're saving right there. Because there's times where I don't want to be a cop anymore. I'm going to go to school and be this. I want to be a lawyer. Okay, well, it's been 10 years as a cop. I can't use my GI Bill now. So
Yeah, that sucks. I mean, that sucks. But you know, who knows if that'll ever change.
maybe.
All right, so now, okay, so you finally graduate. What class were you? Remember your class?
145, BLE 145.
Okay. Just to show my age, I was 86. And that was 1995. So, okay, so you finally get picked up by one of the agencies, West Palm. Okay.
Like I said, it was all about connections because agencies put out openings. They could have 3 spots, but they're getting 100-something applications. So it's like, how can I stand out? It's all about what you can bring to the table when you get hired. Just because you were the first one that filled out an application doesn't mean you're going to get the job.
Correct.
So Bevel and Troy were all officers at the time. They taught at the academy. Troy was K-9 officer at the time.
K-9.
And just hearing their stories, like working overtime, Clematis, Bradley's, and you know their war stories, I'm like, man, that's awesome. I got to be with West Palm. So I applied, and they took care of me. They went upstairs to Jackie, like, hey, we need to hire this guy. So in my class, they hired 10 for West Palm, and I was the 10th one. So I was fortunate enough to, you know, make an impression at the academy, and they, you know, put their neck on the line for me. So.
And that's good. It's good when, you know, like I always tell people, man, I love to help people, whether it be, you know, at work or people trying to start a business or whatever it is, networking. I love to see people succeed.
Yes.
You know, it doesn't mean I have to make money off of you, but I just like to see people succeed. And it's nice when others feel the same about you. You know, somebody saw something good in you and said, man, this is a good dude. Let's try to push them and get them into our PD so we can put them out on the street and start serving our community.
Yeah.
So
I was excited. Putting that uniform on, West Palm, like my first day of FTO, was like just amazing feeling.
I think I remember seeing you on Spine Road, and you know, you had that military presence that, you know, every Marine shows. But I remember seeing your tats, and I'm like, damn, he's got me beat. I was telling somebody else at work.
I was hated, not really hated, but because people knew who I was before they even saw me, because I was that hand grenade guy, rookie.
Oh, yeah,
So
I
I had
remember.
the hand
But I
grenades
don't
at the
think,
time.
I mean, I never heard any stories like that about you.
So I know a lot of you guys were like, this bitch got hired with tattoos on his hands? And I had them covered up, because, you know, I'm a rookie. I had that.
I do remember that you had to cover
And
them
they're
up.
like, why are you covering it up? We don't have a policy here. Oh, okay. And then people started getting sleeves. Next thing you know, they're getting like their thumb tattooed and getting their hands. And so I was happy when more and more people started getting tattoos and sleeves at the department, because whenever someone made a complaint, that tattoo guy, that tattooed officer, I was the first one they would think of. And then down the road, it was like, that tattooed officer. Like, well, we have a shit ton of tattooed officers now.
Them dudes, they used to call me Tattoo Lou.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, about the tattoos, you know, it doesn't make who you are and what you do, professionalism. It's just, like, I would never talk about anyone's tattoos. I have before, which was stupid, but someone gets that tattoo for a reason. It's a memory,
Sure.
It's what they've been through, it's a reminder, and it should be allowed. You know, it's unprofessional having tattoos in uniform. No, because perfect example, Flayton, he was my FTO, first phase. I was his first rookie. We're in the hood, Tamron, right down the street, and we're on a call, and I still remember to this day, the one guy, he's like, man, I ain't saying shit to you. told that to Flayton. I was like, oh shit, he just talked to him like that. He's like, I'll talk to him. He's got tattoos. He seems cool. He's fucking down to earth. And I got more respect in the hood just because of my tattoos. I look more of a human, not some robot.
A regular person.
Yeah. So here I am, like
I
my
guess
first
that's-
week. Yeah, regular person. It's like my first week, and these people like listening to me, give me their information, tell me what happened, not giving me any lip.
Showing some respect.
Yeah.
Mutual
So-
respect, I would imagine.
How many times I've been on calls, even like the elderly, like, oh my God, I love your tattoos. Just, oh my God. And it's they like to see that because it seems like, all right, you're a human, you're a normal person, you're not a robot.
Well, yeah, society changed.
Yeah.
You know, so it's not 1960s,
Whatever.
1970s where I think back then, and I hope I'm not being politically incorrect, most people that had tattoos were people that had been
Prison.
prisons or
Gangs.
maybe gang
Yeah.
affiliations. But then, you know, society changed, and people just enjoyed having some ink on their bodies to express themselves in whatever shape or form.
And it's a good icebreaker too, because how many of them, like I'll chill with the dope boys on the corner. They're standing there not doing anything. I'll get out and talk to them.
Yeah.
You know, they're still humans at the end of the day. I'm still a human. And they'll talk about my tattoos, where I get them at, and they'll show me theirs, and they're proud to show me theirs. And they'll ask me questions. You know, I'm thinking about getting this. What do you think? Should I put it here? And it's just good openers. Even working downtown, just people like telling you their
I agree
story
with
about
you,
tattoos,
absolutely.
and it's just like we're looked different or not looked at as like, oh fuck, it's a cop, it's an asshole. What is he gonna do now? And I got goosebumps, you know, talking
Yeah,
about it because
sure.
it's just brings people closer together. In that tattooed community, it's like, oh, you've been in that chair, you know, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's cool. And
Yeah. I think there's a lot of good people that have applied and maybe didn't get picked up because of some ink that they had.
some agencies won't even look at you. If it touches your elbow,
Absolutely.
you're automatically disqualified.
Or you got to wear the sleeves, right?
Yeah, I think PBSO, you just have to cover them up, which if we had to cover them up, not a big deal. Because I was on day shift, I like to cover them up anyways, just put the sleeves on there, especially if you're rolling around getting in a fight. You don't want your tattoos all scraped up.
No, I agree. All right, Trav. So now you're on the job in West Palm, and you get released from FTO.
Yep.
You get assigned a certain sector or zone in the city.
So Ish Flores, he was my roommate, and we got hired at the same time. Ish is like 7 foot tall, and I'm 5'7", so imagine us showing
Yeah,
up on
good dude.
scene.
He's a good dude.
Yeah, I love that dude. He's funny. We had some great times. We got sent to it was like the most senior day shift. That's the shift that we got sent on. He was sector 11. I was sector 12. And we loved it. We're brand new. We're on our own. We're like, we handled the whole north end. We tell all the senior guys like Dwight McDonald, the branches, Wood, all them, Houston, like, hey, stay where you're at. We got this. We got this. And they're like, they loved us because we wanted to learn, and it was fun for us. We just so grateful to have the opportunity to represent West Palm Beach and have this job that so many people want and can't get. And so we got a lot of respect doing that, and we just had so much fun. And then, was it shift change, right? Or shift bids.
Shift bits, yeah, in
So
January.
then went on night shift and got to experience the nightlife and different supervisors and the car chases and the foot chases and
The stuff that we all sign up for when
yeah,
you go to the academy. Like, I want to be involved in
Like,
this action.
yeah, that you see on TV, but it's so much better in real life. And I was such a nerd because you work 4 days on, 4 days off, love the schedule. And on my off days, we didn't have that much overtime, and I didn't really work any overtime. But I couldn't wait till my off days got over with to get back to work because it was just that adrenaline is so much fun. And then if you're working with a good group of people, wolf packing and everything, you have a blast.
You're absolutely right. Because I remember when I was on patrol.
You're a canine. When I met you, you're a canine when I got hired.
Yeah, but when I started, man, it was a young group, you know, and the action was still there. The city was still very, very busy. It was popping off all the time. And once it got a little bit slower at night, you went and did your wolf packing, you know, and the jump outs, and you got to be proactive. And it was fun. Like you said, you know, you really enjoyed your 4 days on, Back then, we still hand wrote.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and I think me or myself, I used to, I think, write faster than I type. Unfortunately, I can only use like 2 or 3 fingers when I type.
These 2 fingers.
Yeah, you know. So, but all right. So now what? You spend a little bit of time on the road. You go from days to nights. Did you end up going to any specialized units? Did you make any lateral moves?
Yep. So me being young on the job, single, I went EDU, Entertainment District Unit. So Ish went night shift for it, and I was the day shift on the 2 side. So I handled all the downtown stuff during the day, which was overnight burglaries or vagrants. And then, you know, you had a lot of overtime when it can come to events. With West Palm, you have Sunfest,
Yeah.
Moonfest,
All the fun events.
Theater, marathons, everything. So it was fun. I was more excited to wear the shorts on EDU.
Nice and comfortable. Were you
Oh,
just
man.
trying to show off your legs, or were you?
Yeah, show off the legs, the tattoos, and you know, there's times people didn't really think I was a cop. I'm
Yeah.
really a cop. So I got sleeves on both legs and arms, so I'm like, yeah, I'm a cop. And then from there, I went to my dream job, Narcotics Unit. I forgot what it was called at that time. They changed it every week. But
That wasn't a Q, was it?
wasn't Q, it was CRT, or maybe QRT. Maybe it's QRT.
I think it was QRT. I think, but
Changed
all
it
right.
back
So
to
you,
it.
so you go to
So I got to
your
learn.
dream job there.
Casey Getz was up there, and he's very knowledgeable. He was one of my FTOs when I was going through FTO, and now he got to be my FTO upstairs, how to do search warrants. And let me tell you, search warrants seem cool in movies and shows, but when you're that primary officer doing it, you're writing a novel. If you don't like writing, you think it's all fun and games,
Absolutely.
no, it's a lot of, and it's scary too, because if you get the wrong door on a search warrant, that's your ass. So
Yeah.
you gotta really double check, but I mean, it's exciting. I remember the first time I went undercover to buy some drugs, and that is hard. You don't really think about how hard it is, but how the verbiage is different. It's not just, hey, can I buy some drugs? You got some drugs?
Can I have 1 bag of crack
Weed.
cocaine, please?
Yeah, they're like, get the fuck out of here. They change the names for it all the time because, yeah, they may be dumb, book smart, but these guys are street smart. They know their shit out there. They speak their own little language out there. And, I mean, we have our tactics, clearing the house, or just, they have their tactics on selling dope. They're going to keep
Absolutely.
their gun over here. You have a lookout, blah, blah, blah. So, respect to them. But undercover, man, it's just because you know your boys are listening. They're in the parking lot, you know, and just, all right, I can't sound like a cop. I got to talk like somewhat normal. And so with me, I wasn't buying crack cocaine. They would know. So I would just buy cocaine. I'm like, bro, I just got out of the Marines. You know, I got all these bitches coming over.
Ready
They're
to
gonna
party.
do cocaine off my dick. You know, but the guy's 18-year-old drug dealer. He had him in envelopes, stapled, in his trapper keeper. You know, he just got done with his college class. I mean, he's organized drug dealer. So we were going to use him to get to the bigger guy. And so doing the buys and search warrants, I was just having a blast. I was living it up. Unmarked car we got. But 2016, I got into a shooting.
Right.
So the media put your picture on blast, fucked up my case. So I'm like, I wonder if I can still do something. I'm like, hey, man, I need to buy some drugs. Or I need another re-up.
Yep.
Bro, he went ghost on me.
I bet he did.
So I had to close out the case due to the fact I got into the shooting and the media put my...
Your face, yeah.
So we had to close
in
it.
public view.
And then that's when it went downhill at the department, where it went from being excited, motivated, and I wasn't even a big drinker either. That shooting, it took 9 months for the investigation and everything, and obviously I was cleared, and the only thing I got written up for, I had to have my body camera turned on in time. But in those situations, you're getting out of the car, you have a signal 10, you're backing up someone, they have a stolen gun inside the car, blacked out tent.
Yeah, split
So,
section.
you know,
Split
you're
sec-
just tap it, and, you know, I didn't tap it hard enough or whatever. It didn't come on.
And that happens, you know, it happens to everybody. Not, you know, it's a split-second decision of just, you're trying to observe something that's in front of you, and at the same time, you have to think, I got to do this.
Yeah, which
You know,
is
so yeah, it happens, but
so 9 months behind the desk, and during those 9 months, it was just I got taken off the unit. My unmarked car got taken away from me. I had to get a haircut because I had long hair then. Had to shave the beard, and I got put between two captains in the corner, and I was a crime analyst. So a desk job analyzing crime patterns. So that was my job for 9 months, and not knowing what's happening, no time frame on when this is going to end. And mind you, I'm not working any overtime. Everyone's crushing overtime, making money. Holidays around the corner. So that 9 months, I probably missed out on like $15,000 of OT money.
yeah.
And I got very depressed because I got taken off my dream job. I feel like I did something wrong. And so all I did was just
It's a
start
tough
drinking.
process. You
Yeah.
know, thank God I've never been put in that position, and I hope I never am. But, you know, that's what we train for. But when it happens, when an officer is involved in a critical incident like that, I think today the way it's dressed has changed a lot to maybe back then, maybe when you weren't. No.
They need to
What's your
change.
opinion on that? What do you think?
They can't put you in the corner.
Absolutely.
Like, yeah, you had to check in here and there. They'll give you a week or two off after shooting. Then you come in and you're doing DPR. Behind the desk, they take your gun away. They take your police car away. You're not allowed to do any kind of police-related stuff. So it literally feels like you got in trouble. Then you're second-guessing yourself. And then you're thinking, I'm going to get in trouble. I'm going to get fired. Do I need to apply somewhere else? Do I need to resign? All these thoughts are going in your head day after day. Everyone's making money. Now, you know, I was living off of overtime. You had all this overtime, so you're not thinking like you're going to be out for 9 months. So savings, everything is drained. So now I'm taking out loan after loan to make ends meet. Being a homeowner, you know, your AC breaks. It's $3,000.
Sure,
You need
yeah.
a new roof. Your dog needs a surgery. So, yeah, so I was drinking all the time, and just my PTSD, I battled with severe social anxiety, depression, and anger issues. And so I would just drink to numb everything, and it's probably the worst thing you can do because
Alcohol is depressant.
and it's the only legal drug we're allowed to do. Like I never smoked weed. I wasn't popping pills. The only pain pills I would do is Motrin. I wouldn't take anything higher, even though my back's messed up from the military. So that's all you could do is just drink. Just drink and drink and drink. So finally, went back to the road, day shift, put in for FTO, and
Now, just backing up a little bit, Travis, you're going through these emotional process, right? These emotions, you have all these different emotions occurring. Did you speak to anybody that, like friends? Did you reach out to anybody, you know, to try to alleviate some of that stress, depression?
no, because the Marines and the police department, it's just deal with it. That's what we're told. We're trained to help people and to deal with their problems, but we're not trained or taught how to help us. And the stress of being a cop, you have to live a perfect life. So you're constantly walking on eggshells. You don't have a freedom of speech. Your social media is regulated. If they don't like something, it has to be taken down. You're getting written up. If you have a 5 o'clock shadow, you're being told how to have your hair. So it's just a lot of things that adds up. Yeah, the money's good in retirement, but it takes a severe toll on your health, your mental and physical health. I talked to a few people that I can trust, fellow veterans. I'm not going to say their name.
You don't have to.
But there's times where I've cried. Like I stare in the mirror drunk, and I'm like, you're a fucking piece of shit. You're worthless. And I'll just stare at myself and just with so much hate. And I could never be in a relationship because I didn't love myself. I hated myself. I just felt like out of place. I'm like, the fuck am I doing? You're a fucking loser. And just dealing with this emotional roller coaster of waking up depressed or waking up angry. And times you wake up and you're happy as can be, but that's destroyed because you know it's not going to last. You're like, all right, one little thing could happen and I'm triggered and I'm angry. So it's a lot to deal with.
Sure.
There's a few times where I've had the gun in my mouth and to my head, getting ready to pull the trigger, and what stops me is, I have my dogs. Who's going to take care of my dogs? Is this carries on to my family and friends, and then they're going to question like, oh, I should have been there for them. I should have known. No, you don't know. Like, anyone that mentions me, like, oh man, he's so silly. Travis always joking and laughing. He'll make anyone in the room laugh. He'll do anything silly, because I was dying on the inside. I don't want any of my family or friends to feel how I felt. So I would go above and beyond to make sure I put a smile on your face, to make you laugh. If I see something you don't look happy,
Yes.
I'll joke with you. I'll know what makes you laugh. And in a way that would help me. That was my medicine. So when people found out that I'm dealing with these emotion stuff, they're like, what? You've been suicidal? You're depressed? There's no way. Not you.
Bro, Robin Williams.
Yes. I use that.
I mean, the story you just told me, or what you just said, Robin Williams said something to the nature is, my job was to make other people smile and laugh.
Mm-hmm.
But yet on the inside, he was
dying.
Yeah, not because he had a cancer or anything like that, but something similar. The emotions, the depression, and it's unfortunate because he was such a great actor, but not being able to reach out to somebody was so sad, And that was just maybe like 5 years ago.
Some of the really happiest people, those are the ones you got to keep an eye on, because we go above and beyond, making sure that you don't feel how we feel. And I was always the type to keep things to myself. Like, I love helping people. You can come to me. I tell people all the time, you can vent to me. I would always listen to people, give them great advice. But I was a hypocrite. I would never reach out to people. And, I talked to fellow veterans, and like, yeah, man, I was in my driveway. I pulled the trigger, and I turned my head right before the bullet went off, and it skinned my head. And, he's married, kids.
Yeah.
And just hearing this, and there's like no hope for us. If we mention anything like that at the department, or we say it to the wrong person, we can't mention we have mental health issues, like we need a mental timeout. They're like, oh no, you're unfit. Give me your gun. You're going to see a psych, and now I've got to deal with a psych for 2 months. Now I'm getting angrier because all I needed was just a little help.
Oh, absolutely. We teach a class now in training. It's called the physiological effects of stress, pretty much on a police officer.
Mm-hmm.
And we try to explain to the officers that you don't have to hold this stuff. You're not going to be ridiculed because you say, I'm having issues sleeping at night because I saw a particular incident. I saw a baby go through a windshield. I've seen numerous dead bodies, stuff that we see in our profession. So I think finally we have made it available where we have a wellness officer, right?
We'll get to him and how important he is.
Yeah, and at the help. And what I'm trying to say is the officers don't have to keep this inside of themselves anymore. Because, like you said, it's a cancer and you're dying within. Put it on a fake smile. But now we teach the class, like, listen, you got to have a life outside of police work. Very important. You can't eat, breathe, and live law enforcement 24/7, right?
It'll destroy you.
It will, because especially, what are you going to do when you retire? Unless you go get another job.
Be a cop somewhere else.
It's almost like
people,
right. And I think you'll agree with me, Travis. I think it's like you're going 100 miles an hour, 30 years is up, brakes are put on, and out. What do you do?
Yeah.
So, speak more on how people can get help nowadays.
Well, how long have you been in law enforcement career? How long?
26 years.
26 years.
Yeah.
And our wellness officer just started 2 years ago.
Yeah, somewhere in that area.
So that's 20 plus years of your career that when they finally, like, oh, maybe we should look into this mental health. We have these officers killing themselves, committing suicide. We had no idea this would happen because we're scared to say something because we're scared to lose our job.
Yeah.
I was fine with my shooting. That didn't bother me about the shooting. That's nothing. But how I was treated and put in a corner and taken away from my dream job and making me think like I did something wrong in 9 months just to sign this paper, you violated this policy, you didn't turn your camera on in time. So 9 years of my career gone, getting in debt, losing overtime for what? You know, put me back on the road. What's the big deal? How about, okay, these people that are on admin leave, don't take them off the unit. They didn't do anything wrong. If they did do something wrong, okay, yeah, take them off. But have mental health days where, like, all right, we're going to take this person to Dave & Buster's. I'm going to go, there's plenty of companies that will help out. Like,
Sure.
hey, yeah, we'll take you on a charter fishing boat. We'll go paddle boarding. You know, just to get out and about. Sitting at home,
It's not healthy.
8 a.m. calling IA. Yeah, this is Travis, check in, I'm alive. All right, no problem, we'll call you if you need you.
No.
So every time your phone rings, you get a text. That's stress and anxiety. And then 4 o'clock comes, you can breathe. Like, all right, I'm good. And then the next day. Then your weekend's ruined because, like, oh, fuck. You know, tomorrow I got to check back in. You know, what's going to happen this time? So they really need to evaluate the mental health, have a mental health unit, which they finally are. But, yeah, like you said, don't eat, sleep, drink, cop life, and that's what I was doing. My off days, I was working overtime. Yeah, cop life's great, making the money's there, but it's going to consume you. You know, I do my day shift, and I have my evenings free. So all I would do is just get hammered every fucking night.
Yeah.
I'd have a chick over, I'd meet on Tinder or Bumble. Wouldn't have any money to go on dates because I'm catching up from being in debt. So I'm like, yeah, if you want to come over, and I was always honest. I'm like, look, if you're looking for a relationship, ain't happening mentally, I'm not about it. If you want to come over, have some drinks with me, if you want to smoke weed, you can smoke weed, watch a movie, whatever happens, happens. Yeah, no problem. That was my life. So then on my off days, go to the gym, deal with my dogs, work as much overtime as I can. So I'm in uniform 7 days a week.
24/7, really.
Yeah. And then putting that uniform on and that stress and anxiety, like walking on eggshells. You know, it was destroying me. And I remember thinking, I can't make it 20, 25 years doing this. I am miserable. And the drinking just took over. I remember some people would be like, you had Jack Daniels last night? Yep. The whole fucking bottle. Like I was downing a bottle, sometimes more, a night. Like it was nothing. And I was, get up, I'd pop my prescribed Adderall.
Sure.
And boom, be able to do what I need to do. Nighttime, it was like my treat. And just to numb everything. And it was, yeah, the drinking just took over. It was, I'm like, man, am I an alcoholic? No, I'm gonna stop for a day.
Yeah.
Stop for a day. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm able to do what I need to do in the mornings, and you know, I drink at night. What's wrong with that? But here I am downtown working overtime in Clematis. You get your friends with club owners, managers. Hey, meet me in the secret area. Let's do a shot. Boom. Take a fireball shot. Or, hey, make me a drink. And then get done with working overtime like Benko. They make me a to-go drink and have my drink. And as soon as I get home, I'd make a drink before I even take my uniform off. Leave the shoes at the door, let the dogs out, make a drink to get undressed. That was my life, work and drink.
You know, I'll say this, man. It's unfortunate that you had to experience that. But I think the positive side about it is that you're willing to speak about it. And you can educate other people that may be going through the same events, emotionally, physically, you know, the same traumatic experience, I guess. You can speak about it and educate other people. Because somebody could watch this, you know, if one person watches that and hears your story, yeah, and they might be feeling the same way that you were feeling, or and you can change that, man, that's, you know, thank God that you can do that. Thank God you're willing to speak about it.
Oh, I have no shame.
Yeah, and
You know,
I know
before
that.
I always
You know,
kept everything inside, but that's toxic. Now I can speak about, yeah, I take prescribed meds in the morning, at nighttime to stay sane and balanced because of what I've been through and the head traumas and experiences. Adderall puts me in a great mood. If I'm having a busy day, I'll take it, and it's just, I'm always tired anyways because I'm coming and going, so my energy, it helps. But Adderall puts me like in this friendly mood. Like if I don't take Adderall, I'm just like quiet to myself, just chill. But yeah, I love telling my story because I have no shame. I don't care. You can judge me all you want. I'm still here, and how many times I've tried to take my life, and well, actually, 2019 was my worst year. I mean, it was bad.
yeah.
I had that hit and run incident at Oki and Jog on my way to work. I couldn't tell the real story because like, oh, no, it's going to open up a can of worms. You need to say this happened. Oh, okay. And so no one really knew the whole story, what I've been through. So got taken off the road for that hit and run. I had to blow and everything, piss test, passed all that. But then the media is the devil. The media destroys officers. They don't read the whole report. They're just going to take bits and pieces.
What they want to put out.
Oh, before that even happened, when Sergeant Neely was just,
Yeah, God rest his soul.
yeah, man,
Great
good
dude.
when he passed away, I got hooked up with this chick. Simonian hooked me up with her. Yo, nice chick, blah, blah, blah. You should hang out with her. Hung out with her. We were doing drinks and everything. She was getting me drunk. We were messing around. We go in the bedroom. Long story short, she says no. We were both in our underwear. Okay, that's all you tell me no once. Boom, I'm off you. So I had a shift in a couple hours. I'm like, I gotta get some sleep anyway. So I got off of her. I laid on my stomach, my arms under me. And I was ready for bed. She stands up, freaks out. Oh, what the fuck is your problem? Blah, blah. Leaves. Didn't think much of it. Next day, later in the afternoon, I get called in the IA. Now I'm being investigated for rape. So I'm like, the fuck? So I had that hot flash, sick to my stomach. I'm like, rape? Who? The chick you hung out with last night, she claimed rape. She left your house, went to Wellington Hospital, did a rape kit. I'm like, what the fuck? We didn't even have sex, our underwear on. They're like, you have a few options. You can lawyer up. You can talk to detectives. You know, I'm like, look, I don't want a PBA rep. I don't want anyone. I want to talk to detectives right now. Have them come here. I'm innocent. I didn't do anything wrong. I'll tell them exactly what happened. So in walked in 2 female detectives from PBSO. So I'm like, fuck. But they were cool. They were down to earth, very straightforward. Tell them what happened. They already had talked to her. She kind of changed her story a little bit. And DNA test came back. Oh, 0% of my DNA. But you think the media reads the whole report? So I got tore up.
Just
in the
blasted.
news. Officer Travis Limauro, who was involved in hit and run. Well, the hit and run was later on. But every time I was in the news, it'd bring up this rape case. Officer Limauro, alleged rape. You know, Officer Limauro involved in a rape case. So it made me look like I actually did rape someone. And anyone that knows me knows that shit doesn't happen. Like I don't need to. So just that sickening to my stomach of being involved in that, and then how much more of walking on eggshells you have to be when you're a cop. You can be someone that hates cops. They'll let you sleep with them. Then they'll claim rape, and then they know what bullshit you have to go through and how you're going to get destroyed in the media. So I was cleared that night after I got done talking with them. They closed it out unfounded, but it's always going to be in the system.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Always going to be in the news. And come to find out, she was one of Epstein's pimps. She used to bring the 14, 15-year-olds from Royal Palm Beach High School. She'd get $200 a head to bring them to the island. And so she was involved. They had a 54-page PC. Like David Copperfield was involved. I didn't know this till PBSO told me about her. Like, did you ever Google her? It's like, no, like type her name in, look at this. And then when that Epstein Netflix series came out, she was on there played one of the victims, but she knew what she was doing. So it's just like, ever since then, it's hard for me to trust females, like new ones. And it's easier now because I'm not a cop, but so that literally destroyed me. Like, first time I tried to hook up with a chick, like a month or so after that, my dick didn't work. But I'm struggling. I'm like, fuck. Going down on her for like 30 minutes. And she's like, are you going to fuck me? I'm like, I can't. You know, because I'm terrified of what happened, you know. And so it mentally scarred me. So that, on top of all the other shit, December 6th, the night I tried to take my life, I was like, that's it. I just left the fundraiser with Big Dog Ranch. Veterans were there. Big wigs went there, so I got to sit at the veteran table with other veterans. We auctioned off dogs. I mean, I started drinking 4 o'clock. White Claws and shots of vodka in there. Started getting ready, bow tie. And then I was just pounding the Tito's and Red Bull at the event. And so I remember driving home, had a little bottle of Tito. I was like, man, I feel good. I'm like, I know I'll never feel like this again. I'm going to wake up tomorrow and it's back to being depressed. I'm like, I'm going out with a bang tonight. This is it. And so drove around, saw a bunch of cars coming, just pulled in front of him. My dumb ass forgot to take off my seatbelt. Boom, got in a wreck, and I was arrested for DUI.
Yeah.
So, yeah, to sum it up, you know, people like, that's fucked up, a cop arrested you for DUI. I'm like, no, he saved my life, or he helped save my life. If he would have let me go, I just would have finished the job when I got home that night. I didn't resist or anything. I know some people are like, oh man, they had tasers on them. I didn't resist. I was polite, cooperated. Being on both sides now,
Yeah.
taking people to jail and being in jail, it fucking sucked. Staying in jail, it was cold.
It is cold in there.
So I got released the next day, and I just remember feeling just like, man, my life's done now. I got DUI. I ain't getting out of this. There's no fighting it. There's, you know, I tried to kill myself, and I ended up getting a DUI. Went home, dealt with the dogs. I was planning on, all right, how am I gonna kill myself this time? Pills or something. So I took a shower, and then I heard a knock on the door, and it was the wellness officer,
Okay.
Lieutenant Kihei. And he didn't leave. He wasn't leaving until I left with him to go to rehab. And Amara's broke down crying, and I'm like, fuck it, I'll give it 2 weeks. I was like, fuck it, I just tried to kill myself in rehab. And that's how bad my life is.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I've done so much in life. Feel like I've accomplished a lot. Been there, just done so much, and I just still felt incomplete. Like this, being a cop destroyed my life. It went from something like a blessing I was so excited for, destroyed me. And there's nothing, and knowing other people are going to go down this route too. But it was a first responders rehab, FHE, Florida House Experience, called Shatterproof. So they do brain treatments on you, neuro treatments. And so they do, when you get there, they do like a brain study pattern on you. So you can see like the darker areas, how fucked up you are. I mean, it was dark. So I did treatments pretty much every day, and I just started feeling better. Like I could feel like my brain was like hard clay, and then it started getting like silly putty. Like I felt good. So I was there for about 3 months, and I realized my biggest trigger was being a cop. That I wasn't stuck being a cop. You know, many cops, like, it's all I have. I don't see myself doing anything else. And I've been over 15 months sober. I thought I was an alcoholic, but I wasn't. I drank because I was self-medicating.
Sure.
So
and that's exactly what it is, self-medicating.
Yeah, it's a temporary fix, but it makes it worse.
Sure.
Like, yeah, you can have this money now. Yeah, I'll loan you, but you're going to have this interest. So that's what it was. And so once I got my mental health in check, and the day I resigned, it happened to be on 4/22, it wasn't planned, I felt good, the weight off my shoulders. I was smiling, I was happy, and I'm like, I get a fresh start. I'm like, God didn't let me die. There's so many near-death experiences,
yeah.
and he's like, I'm still alive. So that's when I started my company. I got your 6 first responders. It's like, I have a freedom of speech now. I can be the voice of the people that can't speak. So I started my own podcast and clothing line, and so many people reached out to me, like, I don't feel alone. Thank you for sharing your story. You shouldn't be ashamed.
You've touched people.
Yeah.
You know, your story has gone to people that
all over
needed
the United
to hear
States, in other countries too, and it's incredible, like how social media is, and just like you shouldn't be ashamed taking pills. Are you ashamed going to the doctor? You know, why are people shame rehab? You know, you're going to rehab because you're sick. Yep. And addiction, like when I tell people when they're dealing with a family member or a friend, they're lying to me. I'm like, look, stop. Do not get mad. It's addiction that makes them lie. I lied to Kihei all the time. Yeah, I promise not to drink alone. I wasn't drinking alone. My dogs were with me. You know, just stupid shit like that. You don't realize it's a sickness. And so I tell people, I'm like, you got to be patient. It's a sickness. They're sick. They don't realize, you know, how bad they are and that they're lying. They think they're fine, but they're not. I thought I was fine. But so rehab saved my life. But Kihei, he's the perfect man. God put him in that position, and that needs to be a full-time unit. And he's the man for that job. You can feel safe with him, with whatever you say. He'll go above and beyond for you. He'll be there for you. He checked on me all the time. He visited me when I was there. And, you know, he's got a big family, but he'll still take time. If you need him, he'll be there.
That's good.
And we still stay in contact. And I still tell him this day and give him as much praise and let people know, I'm like, he's the reason why I'm alive. Yeah, I got arrested. That was a start, but he wasn't leaving because he knew that I needed to go. And if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah.
So, I
Well,
got to,
thank God that, life had changed for you for the best.
it did. It wasn't easy learning how to
Oh,
live
no,
life
absolutely
sober,
not. Yeah. I'm sure that's not easy.
especially during the whole pandemic. Like, oh, this is what I
Everybody
wanted.
else is
Pounding the drinks.
pounding them and drinking them and,
So,
But now let me fast forward just a little bit. So okay, so you go through rehab.
yep.
You successfully complete the program,
Mhm.
right? Your life pretty much changed, right? Now let's look at the positive side.
What's
So
next?
now what's next, right?
Yeah, so
tell me what happened after.
I hurt a lot of people when I was drunk. All I want to do is just drink, and I push so many people away. If you cared for me, I'd push you away. I'd push a button to make you mad at me, to make you hate me. Because I hated myself, I wanted you to hate me too. I don't want anyone caring for me. But I had that close circle where they were still there for me. And like Haley 9, I did her dirty a while back and regret it to this day. And she could have said, fuck you, you drunk. You should have died that night. But, we're even closer today. She's my sister, and she's been my rock. And she's actually a diamond. Diamond's stronger than a rock. And actually have a few tattoos in memory of her as a reminder that she was there
yeah.
for me. She's alive.
Yeah.
It sounded bad. And, I love her to death. And then I have good friends like Matthew Steinberg. He's vice president at Ideal Nutrition. I met him
Yep.
at the police department. He opened up a store in Gardens. Him and I have always been close, and he hired me and trusted me that I wasn't going to relapse and drink and fuck up his store. He put trust in me, and I got hired with advanced canine training. They were looking for a decoy. I'm like, yeah, I've done some bite work with the canine officers with you guys when I was a rookie.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got shit to do. Let's give it a try. And just having these opportunities and networking, and just expanding your mind, there's more to life than what you think.
Absolutely.
I thank God all the time for the ups and downs. I don't want a perfect life. No one should have a perfect life. Should appreciate.
None of us are perfect.
No.
None of us live in glass houses, so we can't throw stones.
So people don't want any struggles. They want good things to happen to them. But I appreciate the bad. I appreciate the rock bottom because it makes you value life more and to help others and just really appreciate. All right, you have to sit back and what do you want? What do you want me to do, God? What do you have planned for me? Just send me, give me the sign. Just let me know what to do. And that's why I can tell my story. I help people lead them in the right direction and just being there for others. And just, it's very important nowadays, just being there for each other.
Absolutely. No, you know what? And I know you love canine because I follow you all the time, and I see you catching those dogs in the cars and on rooftops of vehicles and all that stuff. And that definitely is one of the best positions I ever had during my 26 years.
Yeah, decoying is, when he put that ad out, he's like, yeah, I had little girls hit me up to try to do it. I don't realize wearing that 60-pound suit in the heat, it's a whole different type of cardio. When I started there, I was like, holy shit. 'Cause I had the sleeve training with you guys, but the full suit in the summertime and then wrestling with the dogs, it's a whole nother.
It's like being in a sauna.
Yeah. Once you start sweating, it's fine, but just when you're wrestling with those dogs, and the dogs are so powerful, and it's motivating for me just because how smart they are and how important being a decoy, just little things like don't jam, you can hurt them.
Absolutely. Very important.
You got to take the bite, and they're coming at you 100 miles an hour, and it's important that for your safety and their safety. And they're just doing what they love, and it's just they attack me, boom, he releases, and then now he hands me the leash, the handler, and I'm walking the dog, giving the commands. He's sitting in my lap, and how these dogs are able to just, all right, now it's chill time. Or when I show up there and the dogs see me, when people bring their dogs for training, the dogs go crazy because it's like, oh, our chew toys
have
here.
Some fun here.
And it's just how, as soon as I put on the suit, boom, it's game time for them. It's like they're locked on, and just seeing the progression of these dogs and how smart they are is just truly it's incredible. Like I love watching that. I love being a part of it and just
Absolutely. It's nothing like having a canine partner, man.
yeah.
Not to be able to teach others that's a total different beast. You know, you really got to know your stuff. You got to be able to pass that on to that handler. You know, the person who owns the dog. But it's a lot of work, but it's fun. I won't say work. It's a constant training, every day, constantly training. But it's fun work.
It's fun. Something you don't get used to. I got checked. I got too complacent, and it was the first drill of the day. It's like, all right, I'm gonna have him on the leash. Agitation drills, just hit the stick.
Yep.
I didn't have the sleeve on or anything, and I had the bamboo stick, and I went to go hit his paws, and I reached in. I'm not faster than the dog. You forget how fast they are. He latched on, and thank God he wasn't a shredder. You know, I'm like, oh shit, and he's looking at me, the dog. I'm looking at the dog. Oh fuck, it's a real bite. I don't have the sleeve on. So I totally forgot the safe word. The trainer, we had an audience. Our obedience class just got done with, so everyone's like, what the fuck, is that supposed to happen? But I thought it would hurt more. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna leave a bruise. I just felt like tingling in my hand. So the dog releases. Dog did exactly what it's supposed to do. You know, it goes for the bite. It was my mistake, not the dog's fault.
Yep.
It was my mistake. So I pulled down my compression sleeve. I'm like, oh shit, that's my bone. So you know, I got the scars here, and went to the VA hospital to get stitched up. And but I laugh about it. I'm like, man. But I learned now to always be on guard. You're gonna get injured. You're gonna get hurt. Your shoulder's gonna get torn. You're gonna. I mean,
they're sneaky, man. Because I remember when I was in Canada, we were training with Mario back in the days, and I remember he went to go catch my dog Ike, about midsection, and Ike did the old shimmy on him. Instead of going up, he snuck under the sleeve and caught him in the belly, and it was a nice little punch up. But Mark took it like a champ, man, as a trainer.
well, that's the thing. It's just you gotta have eyes on them the whole time. And say if you bring your dog out there, I'm gonna ask you questions before I train. What does your dog go for? Is he a shredder? Does he just latch on? Does he go for arms? Does he go for legs? You know, you don't train to have the dogs go for your face because then now that it puts you at danger during training. I'm not trying to take a bite to my neck. Sure. You know, we train for biting arms or legs.
Extremities, yeah.
And so I always ask people out there, how's your dog? Like this troopers picked us up, so we do their training with their dogs. And just different styles of how police departments do it, how dogs, you have to choke them out. What's the proper word for that?
We used to use poos, which meant out.
Yeah.
That's Czechoslovakian.
You know,
Poos.
Some are trained where you have to like pull the collar to choke them to let go. That just looks bad, and it's just I don't like that.
Yeah, you know, and that it doesn't hurt the dog because you know it's you're wrapping with that collar, right? It's a choke collar, and people think you're choking the dog.
Yeah.
You know, you're just putting pressure on those muscles that are causing him to release. All right.
And they still latch on.
Yeah.
And so that gasping,
the eyes,
bitch, let go.
Yeah, but just so you know, to the people that are listening that maybe don't know too much about canine, you're not really hurting the dog.
No.
You know, even when you give them a correction, you know, it's just to let them know, Dad is not happy, you messed up, and now we need to do it again.
Yeah, you're going to have the e-collar because you can get in a fight, you black out, right? Or you get in that tunnel vision. So that's how they are with the bite. They get so excited, so sometimes they don't hear you, so you got to give them a little zzz with the e-collar, like, oh yeah. It's just incredible watching like recall drills.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
One word, and then they stop in their tracks, turn around to you. They want to bite me, being the decoy, but they hear the special word to recall, and comes right back, right by your side. And just seeing how smart they are, it's just like I have a blast.
Yeah, it's,
like I get beat the shit out there by them dogs, but I enjoy it. Like,
absolutely.
I got ripped open here. I got a fang, so now I wear those mechanic gloves. Because the dog's right here, and you got the stick. All of a sudden, they turn, and they're so fast. You just always got to be on guard.
And you can still feel.
Oh,
you can still,
especially
depending
like
on the dog.
When you amp them up, and it's like a couple minutes before they get that first bite, and you're pissing them off, and that first bite, you're like, woohoo! You can hear me in the videos when I got the high pitched laugh. That means the bitch is hurting. So.
Well, Travis, I'm gonna let you say a couple of words before we close out. But before that, I'm just want to say thank you, man. Thank you for coming, man. Thank you for supporting my new channel, What's Next. And a lot of people may ask, like, what's next? And we spoke a little bit about it, but what I mean is what's next in your life, with this second, this minute, this next hour, month, whatever. But what's next? And at the same time, start having a plan, especially if you're, whatever the profession that you're in, whatever career you're in, start having a plan for what's next in your life.
Yeah.
After your current career. Don't wait till the last minute. Start thinking, what am I going to do next? Your second chapter in life. So that's how I came up with my name, and I love it because my whole job here is to hear other people's stories like yours. I don't want to stay within that LEO military bubble. I want to be real. I want to keep 100. I want to hear real life stories that hopefully can have an impact on somebody that might be listening or watching the YouTube video. Because we are going to be on YouTube. We are going to be on all I just forgot podcast platforms. So people can see the video and people can also hear it if they're driving or something to that nature.
All right.
But do me a favor, just in closing, some advice that you would give somebody that may be in dire need. What would you tell that person? How to seek help, who to call, what to do.
One thing, you should never be ashamed of any kind of mental health. I mean, the majority of people struggle with mental health. They just don't say anything. You need to take it serious because it's going to lead you to a path of destruction, of hurting people. And that's what messes me the most. There's people I hurt. I remember apologizing to a bunch of people that I hurt, just reading text messages like, yeah, remember you sent me this? I'm like, no, I don't remember. How many nights I've blacked out and just had no filter. And it still hurts me to this day. Some forgave me, they understood. Some didn't. I'm not looking for your forgiveness. I want you to know that I am sorry for what I was going through. But reach out. So many years I kept everything inside, just kept it to myself, and it was toxic, and I was just a ticking time bomb. And you got to reach out. You got to talk about it. And you should never be ashamed of having to go to rehab. If you have to go to rehab, go to rehab. I went to rehab, and it's been a blessing, and I'm living the dream. I can say that now. I used to say it, yeah, living the dream, that's sarcastic.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of opportunities out there. I'm working 3 jobs, and I'm having a blast working them. Ideal Nutrition, I help manage Steinberg store out there, local company, meal prep. We're going nationwide soon. Advanced Canine Training, located out in Loxahatchee. I have a blast working with them. They're passionate when it comes to dogs. And with the new company I'm working with, Leviathan Defense Group, if you want to get your CCW, I know you do that too.
Sure.
We have simulators like they do upstairs.
Uh-huh.
We have those. We have a 170-acre range we're being built. We just got sponsored by Blackhawk. So nice. They're going to be having their headquarters down here for training in the southeast section. So, and
your podcast.
I'm doing my podcast, and then I started their podcast and their clothing line. Got new stuff for them, and just doing their social media. So it's just staying busy is the key. Find your happiness. Don't worry about the opinions of others. Do what's best for you. And
have a life outside of law enforcement or whatever career you're in.
Have another job. If you want to make extra money, get a job somewhere else. Don't be sucked into this overtime always, because then you're going to get in trouble. You're mentally going to get, it's going to beat you down mentally and physically.
Absolutely. Again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much to Mr. Travis Limauro for being here. It was an honor to have him. It was great to listen to his story, a real life story. Hopefully somebody's listening again. Hopefully go get help if you need it. There's people out there that are willing to help. There's services, especially for veterans. There's a lot of services out there.
Yeah, reach out to me. I have plenty of connections, and with my company, it's based on mental health. I don't tell your secrets. You want to come to me, and
confidentiality.
It's definitely gonna be confidential. I'll give you my best advice, and if I can't help you, I'll find someone that can.
If somebody wanted to reach you, what's the best way? Through your
go to
podcast?
IGY6firstresponders.com. That's my website. It'll have the social media and Facebook pages. It'll have our YouTube page. It'll have the podcast where it's on iTunes and it's on Podbean. And you listen to other people's stories, like you have me as a guest and hearing some of the stories from other people, not knowing like, oh man, you went through that. You went through 3 losses in a row like that.
Yep.
Mom, dad, best friend passed away all within a couple months, and what they went through. So
it's tough, man.
yeah.
But I'm glad you're here in front of me today, in front of us.
I gave up the gym today to come talk to you.
Oh,
so, you know,
man.
woke
One
up
day it's
extra
not going to mess
early
you up.
to make sure the beer was on point.
I did see you
Yeah, had to
trimming her up, or brushing your beard.
straighten it. Yeah. So
All right, ladies and gentlemen. So again, I want to say real quick, thank you again to my sponsors. I forgot to mention earlier, Simpatico Real Estate Group for your residential and commercial real estate services. My friends Will and Clint from Tacti Polo. All right, look them up on tactipolo.com for all their apparel. They got some really cool stuff, really nice shirts. Next episode that I do, I'll have the stuff in front of me, and I'll actually show it to you. And also to my friend Rudy from Inkhead Designs in West Palm Beach. So thank you very much, guys. Mi gente, my peoples. We'll see you next time. Everybody have a great weekend. God bless. Stay safe.
yes.
We'll be back.
Be nice.